everybody, this is the Weekend. So when this movie came out a few months ago, it was met with wildly positive reviews and they were, talking about this like this was a really refreshing and smart and clever and creative action comedy, and I was not too interested in it, and I saw it just a few days ago, and I'm gonna say this, that I'm really sad that this movie didn't work, because I really want original content to be a more present thing in the current movie climate, but this thing, it just didn't work for a variety of reasons. Let's find out a few of them, shall we? This is my review of Novocaine. So we have this guy who works in a bank in San Diego. He's a really nice guy, and he tries to, be friendly to the customers and help them in any way possible. And he's also interested in this co-worker who's only been working there for a few months, and she kind of asks him out, and they actually go on a date together and have lunch and stuff like that. But that is when he has to tell her the thing about him that makes him a little bit different than other people. He is born with a rare condition that he cannot feel pain. No matter how much you punish him with physical violence, he does not feel anything. And that's why he has to be very careful in his daily routines. He cannot even, chew hard food with the risk of him, chewing off his own tongue without actually noticing it. So he has been living a relatively secluded life and only has a few friends online which he chats with and stuff like that. But now he actually has a real relationship that is on the precipice of being something, and he feels like it can finally be letting himself go and trying new things and not live this very, very boxed in life. But just when things were starting to look up for him, the bank he works at is being robbed, and these bunch of Santa Claus dressed bank robbers, they came in and they steal a bunch of stuff, and they also takes his new girlfriend a hostage. This will not stand, he says. So he steals a cop car and he goes after them in order to try to save her, but he's just a bank clerk that basically has no idea what he's doing and is way in over his head. Is he going to be able to try to free her from these evil hostages, and will he also be able to evade the law because they think that maybe this guy has something to do with it? We shall see why that thing doesn't quite work in the way they hoped that it would. So Novocaine is a movie that is based on a very, very simple premise. Whenever Nate is being subjugated to gruesome violence, he simply doesn't register it and just keeps going like he's the Duracell bunny or whatever. And that could potentially actually have worked. The only problem is that it sort of doesn't, because this shtick gets a little bit old really fast. And one of the key elements to this thing is that Jack Quaid, I've never seen him in any movie that I've seen previously, but the thing is that I didn't think he was funny in this thing. He just, was sort of kind of doing this thing. It was kind of funny when he was trying to, emulate the emotion of being hurt when he's being tortured. But the thing is that it didn't work that well either. So we have some fascinating and creative violence going on, but it never really elevates to the point where you're going, oh, this is really fun, I'm really investigated in this thing. The thing is also that all of the characters in this movie, the cops that are following Nate and the, bank robbers and all that stuff, they're just kind of there. They never truly evolves into something that is truly interesting or something that grabs us. The other problem is that they do a kind of a bit of a twist in this movie, a kind of a bait and switch, which they do in the completely wrong point of the movie. This is a thing that should have been kept to the very end of the movie, not the first third of this movie, because then we know what is really going on here, and it severely dampens the tension that this movie kind of had going on for itself. It also has the weird thing going on that it has sort of kind of a side plot going on, that it decides whether or not it should be present at the moment, because sometimes it just isn't that important, so we're just gonna forget about that part of this movie. They also kind of took the easy way out on a couple of occasions, but it is not a bad movie per se. It's just a kind of uninteresting movie. That's a fun concept, but the thing is that the comedy that you could have had with it didn't stick, because he never had any good dance partners who could make this work. And this is one of these occasions that I don't quite know how you would get this into a functioning movie, because it is a concept that on the surface could have been interesting, but it is not played up to the point where you go, oh my god, that was really fun and entertaining, because there is so many times where he actually gets hurt and he gets these ridiculous injuries and he's all alone, and when that happens it doesn't register as it should have. Novocaine is kind of a movie that wants to be something but fails to really to be it. It is, however, a movie that is never boring, and it moves along fairly decently, and when all said and done we end up in the place that we think we should have ended up all along, with a few minor things that I wish they hadn't done, but it is not a fantastic action comedy that is going to turn around the doldrum of mid-card level movies that we have experienced for the past few years. It is not, however, this dumpster fire that some people have called it. It's just a little bit lame, despite the hard R rating. And I had hoped for that it actually was going to do something more than the bare ass minimum. Novocaine is technically not a bad movie. Novocaine has entertaining bits to itself. It has characters that, if they would have been written a little bit better and a little bit smarter, could have been entertaining and engaging, and we could have cared for them. But in this case, it just didn't work. And I cannot give this movie more than 41 points. This is a decently entertaining movie that doesn't really break any new ground, but it pretends that it breaks new ground. But there are very few characters in this movie that really, hooks you. And the story isn't that interesting. It's kind of generic and all over the place. And, there is so many sequences in this movie that simply doesn't make that much sense. And when it's all said and done, it was just a bit of meh. So, have you seen Novocaine? Did you like it? So, I'll see you next time for so-and-so reviewing, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.